It isn't the Lama or the God is in control. If we make the karma to suffer, and that is coming, and we don't do anything about it, and we create more negative karma, it helps that karma to make us completely open. Completely. So any actions you do in between cannot turn that karma around. So you're meant to suffer, you have to suffer, there's no intervention at all for you. Why? Because having that karma is one thing. You encourage it by your current actions. When you encourage it by your current actions, when you encourage it, it will come out wrong. It will come out wrong. There are people that I've never met in my lives. I don't have power, but the divination is coming from another source. I'll explain. There are people I've met in my life that have come onto the Dharma because of divination. Example, I've never met them. I don't know anything about them. Nothing. And then when I do a divination, and it'll come out, oh, talk to them about green Tara. Talk to them and tell them that green Tara is very good for them. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, I don't even know if this guy's Buddhist or this woman's Buddhist. I don't know nothing about that. And so, whatever. I think, should I trust or not? If I don't trust, why would they trust? So when I meet these people for the first time, it happened to me. You know, we talk for 3 hours about all their business, divinations, whatever, blah, 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 on and on and on. And then afterwards I say, oh, and by the way, and I'm like, oh, I hope you can pray to green Tara. And then the person will wake up and stare at me, totally flabbergasted, and say, how'd you know that? I said, I didn't. The little box told me. And literally, the little box told me. And they say, I said, why? What's the big deal? They said, you know, about a decade ago, I took refuge under another Lama, and I took initiation of green Tara. And after 1 year, I gave it up, and I didn't go back, and I wasn't interested at all. But that was the only initiation that I received was green Tara. And I like her, but I don't practice, and I kind of gave up on it. And I've not spoken to anybody about it. I don't have any images of tankas or anything. And I'm just doing business. And I said, oh. They said, it's shocking. It's shocking that someone can remind me about this. And so I said, so what are we going to do about now? He said, I'm going to start praying again. I want to start praying. I want to start helping. I want to do. And that's happened to me. Cases like that have happened to me many, 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 many times. Sometimes divination come out really flippant, really out of this world things that I'm told to tell people, and I don't want to. I don't want to because I don't want to look like an insane, runaway escapee from the insane asylum. I don't want to. But, okay, but it works out. When I let go, it works out. And I have grown to the point where when I tell people things, I am confident it will be. I am confident. That is why I'm very strict on my divinations, and I don't do it for any Tom, Dick, and Harry. If I know that person's going to doubt, they're new, they don't know, I just don't do it. I say, no, sorry. Why? Why create more problems in their mind? Why? This is a privilege, it's a gift offered to you. I'm not a vending machine. You know, you put in a vending machine for fortune telling. You put 25 cents in, I come out with your fortune for the year. I'm not. And I'm not a Tin Hao temple. You go up there, you offer some justice, and then you know, whatever falls out, you go there, you wake up the little old guy there and tell you your fortune. I'm not that. I'm not that. So if you don't believe, don't ask. If you believe sometimes, then I won't answer. And if you don't follow through what I say, I won't answer. Why? I'll create more problems for you. Why? It will come out the opposite. It will come out wrong. Very simple. Very simple. And sometimes it's better just to tell the person no or yes. Why? They're not going to practice. You offer, you give them more sufferings in their mind, more problems in their mind. Why? They want it that way. They want to suffer. They're happy suffering. I don't know why they're happy, but there are people like that. They're happy to suffer. Conditioning maybe. And then the divination comes originally from where? The divination originally comes from very, very, very elite, very high enlightened lamas like Lama Atisha, Lama Tsongkhapa, Guru Rinpoche, all these great masters who have attained higher states of mind, higher than third stage bodhisattva level. Third stage bodhisattva level, Sasumba. There's 10 levels of bodhisattva. Sasumba, or the third bhumi, is the point where you reach your third eye opens. And you can rely on your visions, you can rely on what you see, you can rely on super clairaudience, clear vision. You'll have the 5 types of clairvoyances. You have to reach the third stage of bodhisattva. That is what Lord Buddha says. So if you want to debate, you can debate with him. I don't know anything. I haven't reached that level. I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. I don't want to see and hear anything. I don't want to be left alone, watch a video. And let me reiterate, I hate divinations. And I don't want any visions of spirits and gods coming. Because you know what? When the gods appear to you, they're going to tell you to do this, do that, help this person, help that person, blah, blah, and go away. So better not to see. Who wants to see Tara appear to me all the time? You think it's fun? It's not fun. These gods are harassed the death out of you to do benefit for others. They'll never let you rest. They'll never let you relax. They're always bugging you. You can be sleeping, they give you a dream. That's going to happen to that person. You got to tell that person. And that person doesn't cooperate, then you got to explain to that person. You got to find ways. You got to bribe them, cajole them, love them, hate them, scream, yell, give them gifts, give them chocolate to make them do it because you had a dream. Tara said something's going to happen to them. So you may think it's fun having vision. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. They bug the hell out of you the whole night. You can't sleep. And then if you can see spirits, they bug you the whole night. Also, they need attention. They want you to recognize them. They want you to talk to them. They're lonely. They didn't eat anything. They're cold. Look, so am I. I'm lonely. I'm cold. Leave me alone. And you think it's fabulous. People want visions. People want to see gods. They want to see deity. They want to see all types of extraterrestrial things. They want to see all types of things. Many, many things. And people think it's fun. It is not fun and is not interesting when it happens every single day, all night, all the time. And if you're someone that knows a lot of people, then you're going to get a lot of signs for a lot of people. So if you know 100 people, you're going to get 100 dreams for 100 people or 50 dreams. And trust me, you're going to look like someone that hasn't slept in years. You're going to look like someone who's totally in a zombie state. And that's what happens to people who can see. And then you'll have accidents. You'll have problems. Why? Because they appear all the time, all around you. And that's the normal spirits. The high-level beings that appear to you, the visions can last for days. Days and days and days where they communicate and tell you things. They expose you. And you know, you don't want to be hooked up somewhere in some room with some god for 3 days listening to how you're supposed to save humanity. You don't want to save humanity. You want to watch a video. I told you, watch a video. I want to watch a video. Go away. Of course, when they appear, you can't talk like that, but you talk now hoping they get the picture. Right? Please get the picture. I don't want you to appear in dreams or whatever. And then when they appear in dreams and they tell you something of someone, or they appear in divination or whatever, visions, and they tell you to tell someone, and they don't do it, you have double the pain. What's the pain? The person doesn't do it, and also, you know what's going to happen. And that's the hardest part. Having clairvoyance, clairaudience, or having extra normal powers to see things, visions, you think it's fun. It's fun 1 or 2 days. It's not fun. And if you make money out of it, it stops. It stops. People who make money out of it and people who brag about visions and all that, their visions are false. Why? According to Buddha, the only way you can have a real vision is when the self-cherishing mind becomes less. So if your mind is very selfish, you're simply me, you have visions, who's going to believe that? Okay, the Dalai Lama has visions and I have a vision. Who are you going to believe? Of course the Dalai Lama, because I'm sitting there sucking on an ice cream and watching a video all day long. How can I have visions? I don't practice, I don't change myself, I don't transform, I'm angersome, I'm bitchy, I'm moody, I'm stupid. And then His Holiness is meditating, 24 hours out of 24 hours a day. Every day he's a pure monk, he holds his vows and he benefits the whole world. He has visions. Of course you're going to believe His Holiness, not me. So people like me run around, oh, I have visions. You're going to say, yeah, right. The only person I can tell them, the only place that I can tell people I have visions, they believe me, is Brickfield. I'm not trying to be bitchy, but yes. Because I can't see anything, what? They can't see anything. So that's why in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, it's very important that if you have visions, you don't reveal and talk. Why? You have to look at your own actions and how you act and how much you benefit people and how much your talk moves and benefits and helps people. And if you're always helping people and you're in the state of mind of benefiting people, then perhaps your visions can be somewhat real and even beneficial. Even if your visions are real, but you don't benefit people and you're always into yourself, still people won't believe you. And you'll create doubt. Why? They'll think you're insane. And then if you're doing certain practices and you tell them that and your mind is not very good, you know what they'll think? Oh, you do that practice, you get that result, and you're like that. Oh no, I'm not interested. So it's very detrimental. That's why in the Tibetan tradition, especially from high lamas, they always tell us, develop those powers to help people, but don't expose. Don't talk. Don't reveal. Why? It will be more damaging to good. You're not dealing with people on the same level as yourselves. It's very, very logical. Even His Holiness Dalai Lama will always say, I'm an ordinary monk. I'm a simple monk. I don't have anything, nothing. Then he'll say sometimes, once in a while I have an auspicious dream, but I can rely or not. It's like that. Then he tells you, Sometimes. Humility is the key. If you're not humble about your inverted commas, supernatural powers, it means you don't have supernatural powers. The other way you cannot be humble about having supernatural powers is you use negative beings to acquire temporary abilities. Negative beings. Oh, sorry, I'm looking for something in my sadhana book. It's very unorganized. I can never find here and there. This one doesn't have it. It's strange. Some books have, some books don't. My sadhana books are very mixed up. Suffering is having a sadhana book and you can't find what you're looking for. That's what I define suffering as, because I'm always looking for something in one of the sadhana books. Do you think I'd remember by now? It's not all the same, it's all different. Okay, looks like I can't find it because it's not in this book, it's in the other book, other sadhana book. Too bad. I can't explain it to you. No, don't have it. Okay. Really, it's too bad. My distant dream one day is to get my sadhana book organized with a table of contents and every feathers. One day. I think when I die, bury the CD with me. Yeah, it's organized. It's going to take that long, I think. See, because this book has been Xeroxed over and over for the last 20 years, the same thing. And a lot of things have been added, and a lot of notes here, in between. So each book is different. Some is here, some is there, some don't have, some have, don't have. So I have about 6 or 7 sadhana books. So that's the confusion. It's not the same thing Xerox, but it's been added on and on. Some of these things I had, I carried with me from New Jersey to Los Angeles when I ran away and I was doing it on the streets, doing my sadhana prayers. Some is very old. That's been re-Xeroxed for many, many years. The problem is organization. That's the problem. Too bad. I need this information too. I thought it was in this book. I think from now on, I tell my assistants, don't have my sadhana books everywhere. Just have one sadhana book that we carry everywhere. Because yesterday also in that other sadhana book didn't have things that I needed, and today doesn't have. So what we need to do, alright? So all these sadhana books from all the centers that we collect and we burn it, we just use one. One that has all the information. And then we'll use that one to re-Xerox everything again. Otherwise it's going to be a very big hassle all the time. That'll make it more efficient. Okay, never mind. Okay, so high lamas, attained lamas. Alright? Attained lamas, they actually can have visions of Buddhas directly and speak to them directly at will. At will. In emergency cases, these high beings will appear to them and talk to them. For example, Adisha was very famous for having direct connection and communion with Tara. Lama Tsongkhapa, after 7 years of intensive retreats, meditation, prostrations, 3.5 mini prostrations, tens and millions of mantras and sadhanas, 7 years of staying in a cave and not leaving and meditating. On the 7th year, he had a direct vision of Manjushri, Lama Tsongkhapa. From then on, he would always communicate with Manjushri directly and talk to Manjushri. Before that, he couldn't. Before that, he had to go to his great Lama, the Nyingma Lama Umapa. Umapa was a very famed Manjushri practitioner and a very pure person. And he would have visions of Manjushri and tell Lama Tsongkhapa like that, and they talk back and forth through Lama Umapa. So Lama Umapa said, you can develop these abilities yourself. You don't have to go through me. You can't depend on me all the time. So anyway, Lama Tsongkhapa went into retreat in Lhasa, in a cave, and with 7 or 8 main disciples. And they did the same retreats. Not everybody in the end had the same result because of their own efforts. But Lama Tsongkhapa at the end of the 7-year retreat had a direct vision of Manjushri, and it took him many years. Direct vision. Someone so great like that had direct visions of Manjushri and talked and spoke. And the relationship was very wonderful because some of the Dharma texts that Lama Tsongkhapa has composed has come directly from Manjushri. Directly. So we call it golden verses of Manjushri, verses that come from Manjushri's own holy mouth. And how do we know they're authentic? Because when you do those meditation practices, you get results. You definitely get results. It's not a matter of just saying, oh, it's a vision and it works and no one can test it out. The great masters from Lama Tsongkhapa's time, 600 years ago till now, of all sects, have used some of these texts from visions from Manjushri directly, and they cannot say anything. Example, one of the texts, one of the teachings and one of the lineages that Lama Tsongkhapa had direct vision of was Kala Chakra. Kala Chakra deity manifested to him immediately. He put his principal, he has 24 arms, his principal arms he put on Lama Tsongkhapa's head and blessed him. And said, you may carry on the lineage of Kala Chakra. So after that, Lama Tsongkhapa composed texts and wrote and taught on Kala Chakra. And that was his style. He had a vision and he taught. And today, the Dharma text, the commentary that's being used by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who travels the whole world giving Kala Chakra every year, is a text used by Lama Tsongkhapa's disciple and Lama Tsongkhapa from that vision. So someone of that personage using that text, and we have many texts of Kala Chakra, use that around the world. And it benefits how many people? How many hundreds of thousands of people receive Kala Chakra every single year? The Kala Chakra is happening right now in South India. In fact, right now, His Holiness is confirming that, using the text based on Lama Tsongkhapa's visions. Think about that. So if I suddenly have a vision, it has to have some kind of benefit. It doesn't have a benefit, forget it. It's just a vision. People who take mushrooms can have visions too. People who take enough, Jack or Daniels or whiskey, they can have visions too. So what does that mean? Vision is a vision. But it's accurate or not, you need to check, you need to know. So these high lamas have the 5 principal types of clairvoyance. Number 1, the clairvoyance of the divine eye. They can see into distant parts, they can see into other dimensions, they can see into the different realms of samsara, and they can see things that are very subtle, very, very subtle. Example, spirits, they can see clearly. Alright? The second type of clairvoyance is divine ear. The clairvoyance of divine ear is to hear distant sounds and very subtle sounds. Very, very subtle that a normal person, a spirit talking, we cannot hear. Very subtle. Third is, third is the clairvoyance of miracle powers. The ability to emanate in various forms by the mind's attained beings, the help beings. They'll emanate in many, many forms. Don't think that a clairvoyant person can only appear as a high lama or as a lama or as a monk. No. They can appear as a woman, as a dog, as a piece of meat for you to eat, a vegetable dish. They can emanate in many forms, inanimate and emanate as bridges. They can emanate as a prostitute. It doesn't matter because your projection of how they can benefit you is different than their projection because your level is here, their level is there. Someone on this level looking at that level doing things will not understand and be confused. Someone at this level, low, judging a person at this level, of course, what these people do, these people call it confusion, get anger, resentment, fight, always retaliate, always, because their level is not the same. If their level is the same, of course they're not going to fight and retaliate because they're talking the same thing. So a person of this level, of this kind of meditation ability, or this practiced, or have this kind of mental ability, then you have these people, there'll always be conflict. So if you're hanging around people of this level, you'll always have conflict. Always have conflict. Why? What they tell you won't do, what they say you won't cooperate, because you can't see. You can't see because you're not that level, but you try to place it off as, I don't understand, I don't understand, I don't understand, I don't understand. So there's a big difference there. Then, Their clairvoyants are remembering their former lives. Their previous lives dependent on the power of their clairvoyance. That's the fourth type. The power of their clairvoyance. They can remember their previous lives. How many previous lives they can remember? How far back is the power of their clairvoyance? And that clairvoyance will depend on the awareness developed from awareness meditation. Shamatha. Okay? If you do shamatha meditation, immediately you can start remembering things a few weeks ago, whatever, it comes in detail. Through shamatha meditation, you can remember things that happened in your childhood. Eventually, you can remember your birth, coming out of the birth canal of your mother. And people can remember being inside the womb. And then, being inside the womb, must have come from somewhere, a previous life. You'll be able to remember your previous lives. Why? Your previous life and this life was connected by conception. So your previous life died, your father and mother joined, and then their seeds join, your consciousness go there. There's no break, it's a continuity. Since there's a continuity, it's a mind that's continuous. Therefore, if there's a break, you can't remember. If there's a break, you can remember up to this point, that's all. But since the mind is continuous and there's no break, you can remember far back. Into previous life. Why is that? If you can remember things that happened to you yesterday, why can't you remember things that happened to you last year? If you can remember things that happened to you last year, why can't you remember things that happened to you 20, 30 years ago? You can't remember because your mind is far away from the object. You haven't trained to remember, and your mind is preoccupied with a lot of other things. If I ask you things like, what did you eat for lunch last Wednesday? Immediately tell me now. Most of us here cannot. But if we calm down, quiet, we relax, we backtrack who were we with, what we did, what time, we can definitely remember what we ate. And with who and what. But immediately now cannot. Why? The difference? The mind calming down. So like that, if your mind can calm down to that level where you can remember perfectly what you ate last Wednesday, which you can't remember immediately now, it definitely can remember 3 weeks ago, 1 month, 2 years, 10 years, 5 years. It can remember 20 years ago, the time of your birth, the previous life. What's the purpose of remembering a previous life? Nothing. There's no purpose in remembering previous life. It's a byproduct of your meditations on awareness. That's all. There is no benefit in remembering previous lives at this moment for us. So we tell people, okay, my last life I was a cockroach. So what happens? I mean, everybody wants to be someone. Everybody wants to say that they're emanation of someone or something high. If you want to tell them that you're high, your incarnation is something fabulous, and you're some great lama, or you're some great priest, or whatever in your previous life, you got to show it for in this life. In this life, if you're cheating, if you're tricking, if you can't deal with people's problems, if you run away from your own problems, if you're not kind, and you only do things that you find easy, the things you don't find easy, you run away, that's not a sign of a high lama. That's not a sign of a high incarnation. That's a sign of another samsara being who took rebirth as a samsara being who did some nice things in their previous life. Very simple. Whether you know your reincarnation of the high being or not, you check your mind. You check where your mind is most of the time. You don't tell people where your mind is. You check your mind. Because what you tell and check can be different. Can. Like Chinese businessmen, got $5 inside the safe, they tell you they got 500,000 left. Do business what? But you see, that is different. That is very, very different. Why is it different? Because that is outright lying about attainments. And we can't lie about attainments. We can't. So, the last type of clairvoyance is knowing other people's minds. Looking at them, concentrating or not concentrating depending on the level of your clairvoyance, you will know their mind. You can tell them the opposite, you can tell them directly, or you cannot tell them at all. Depends on if it benefits them or not. You will know their minds. You look at them, you understand immediately. You look at them, you can perceive, you can get a feeling. Sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's a flash, sometimes it's a really clear, you see them doing something actually that they've done before. You can see very clearly. Sometimes you actually see what they're doing like a video, what they've done. Sometimes you see what they want to do. Sometimes it's just a quick flash. Sometimes it's not even seeing. Sometimes it's just a feeling. A very, very strong feeling you can't get over of that person. Knowing other people's mind. And if they fight you, they don't believe they resist you, it's okay. You don't need to prove yourself. If you really have that, you don't need to prove yourself because they can't deal with it because they don't have or they don't like what you know. And they don't want to become better. So they're afraid. They want to run away. It's very simple. Very, very simple. If somebody knows my mind, most of us, oh, that lama knows your mind, they run away. Why? What do you have to hide? For me, when I find out that there's a high lama around that has clairvoyance, I run there and I sit in front of him and I lick his slippers. Please tell me everything. What can I do? Why? I want to know. It's painful. It's hard, but I'd rather heal. Because I've heard many times, oh, let's not go there, they know. Or sometimes I've heard of crazy people not making eye contact with Tibetan lamas because they're afraid they're going to read into their soul. Look, They don't need to look into your eyes. They can look into your nostril and see what's going on with you. If they got clairvoyance, don't worry about your eye. Don't worry, but your eye contact shows whether you're afraid or not. If you're hiding something or not. And if you're hiding something from the lamas or your guru, then they can't help you. They can't help you. Because their purpose of gauging you is not to harm you, it's to help you. If you keep believing that they harm you, you're thinking on your level. You're not thinking on their level. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. And so, those are the 5 types of clairvoyances a person will have. High lamas definitely have that, like His Holiness Panchen Lama, etc. They definitely have that. I've witnessed it myself with high lamas. Myself, clearly. Clear as day, not even maybe, not even a 1/10 chance. It's 100 out of 100. I've witnessed it. Definitely I've witnessed it. So what happens is this, many times, I don't want to get into examples, it's too many times. So in any case, these great lamas have these visions. But you see, these great lamas, as time goes on, becomes less. It's very difficult for them to manifest in the world because of our negative karma and our negative mind and the need for them. There's always a need, but when we always fight with these lamas, and we always resist, and we always run away, and we always think we're right, we create the karma that we can't be around them. We create the karma that we can't have them around us and manifest around us, even if we want them very badly. Why? How do we think about them? If we think about something negatively all the time, it pushes them away. If we think of something positively all the time, or make it positive and change ourselves, it brings them to us. There are many songs like Calling the Lama from Afar by Lama Tsongkhapa or whatever, that speaks about how to reconnect with our lamas and our gurus, even if they passed away, to meet them again in future incarnations. How? If we always have negative thoughts and trick them and lie to them or play mind games or make our price very high or we just criticize, we talk about them behind their backs, if we do that, how do we get close to our lamas? How do we get close? How? And for some of us, it's only our lamas that can do anything for us. For some of us. So if we keep doing that, we do the opposite, how are we going to get what we want? Impossible. 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 Totally impossible. And so, for normal, ordinary beings like me and you, when we need help sometimes, we need to know what university that our children need to go to so they don't, they have a better chance at fulfilling what they need to do. Maybe a trip somewhere. Maybe some business adventure. Maybe something to do with supernatural forces that we cannot see, but we can feel the effects. We're scared. Our heart palpitates. We feel something touching us when we sleep. We feel something following us. It's not something that we can prove, but we know it's there because we've never felt like this before and it's constant. Or we have untold accidents again and again, or disasters around us again and again and again, and we don't know why. Then, if we have found someone we feel can do divination for us, then we seek their advice. And these divinations came from where? These came from high lamas who have clairvoyance, who don't need divination dice, who have clairvoyance and know how to tell you what's going to happen. Whether you listen or not is a different story. Because I've seen cases like that too. Very high lamas tell these certain students who like that, they won't listen. They think they know better. They'll challenge their lama back. Later they get it. Sometimes some of them is 5 years, some of them is 10 years, they get it. I've seen it. They actually challenge the high gurus back. Why? They think they know better. Okay. Then you get Dharma, you offer prostration yourself, offer mandala to yourself, get Dharma from yourself, and then you teach yourself. But don't do it in public because you'll be put away. So, and then if you trust your visions, you don't need a lama. You don't need to pray. You just listen to your visions and listen to what they say, and maybe they can guide you through your whole life. I hope. I believe people have it, but I don't trust it. Not the people, the visions, and I don't trust myself to give teachings to myself. Therefore, I go to my gurus. So like that, these high lamas have devised methods for normal people like us in difficult situations to do these divinations and have it come true and be accurate. They devise certain methods that you have to go through, that you have to finish and every day maintain and keep so that you can tap into this energy to help others anytime you want. There are meditations and retreats based on Lord Manjushri. The dice is A, Ra, Ba, Za, Na. There are divinations based on the goddess Benin Amo. Fabulous. There are divinations based upon Avalokiteshvara if you have the power. Tara. There are divinations based on the various different types of protectors, such as Mahakala. All the divinations are totally accurate and fabulous and equal in its power. It's just your own preference, and sometimes your Lama might do a certain type of divination and pass the lineage to you and ask you to do the same because that's the lineage your Lama has. So he may compassionately pass it to you, you have it. But divination is not something you just immediately do. What happens is this is the procedure. Generally, alright? Most people do divinations based on Dharma protectors. They're quite fast and effective. Most Tibetan Lamas I know. The highest to the lowest. Most. Alright? Even ordinary geshes and monks I've seen in the monastery do incredible divinations. Incredible. That they're not Rinpoches, they're holy monks who practice and meditated their whole life. And they sincerely want to help beings. So they engage in these practices, and they do it, and they're very well sought after. And the divinations doesn't need to come only in dice. They can come in dice. They can come according to cloth. There's a way of folding your cloth, and the way it opens, you can foretell the future. There's a way of doing divination by your rosary. All right. There's a way of doing divination by mirrors. By not the Western type of mirror, the Tibetan mirror, which is a very polished piece of metal, brass or silver, whatever, that is put onto a certain surface, and when you do the certain prayers, you activate your retreat and what you've done. The visions will appear as signs or visions or clear pictures. Why? There's a very famous lady in South India. We call her Amala, because she's quite old. It means mother, respected mother. And she's been doing divinations for the last 40 years. She's extremely humble. She lives in a small little hovel, and she's a farmer. She takes care of her buffaloes and all that. And she met her Lama, and the Lama recognized her ability to be able to foretell the future, and he sharpened it. He did a blessing on her, an opening of the chakras, and he gave her the meditation text. And she told us. She went into meditation through those texts, and now, for the last 40 years, even a great monastery such as Sarah Monastery, filled with lamas and rinpoches, filled with high geshis, will invite her once a year to the monastery, offer her tea, and have her foretell the visions of how to improve the monastic system, finances or problems for that year. I've seen it. I went to see her a few times, and let me tell you, she is very, very accurate. About 10 years ago, very accurate. And what she does is she recites the prayers of her lineage lamas, from her lama to their lama to their lama to their lama, all the way back to Lord Buddha. And after she recites that, she dissolves it into her, and then she does propitiation prayers. And after she does that, you ask her the question. It takes her about 15-20 minutes to get ready. And then you sit, you offer kata to her out of respect, and you ask her your question. She'll take the rice, she'll blow on the mantra, which is quite secret, and she throws it at the mirror. And immediately you'll see her, she'll have a vision. I didn't see anything in that mirror. Nothing at all. All I saw was my own big reflection, my big fat body looking in, not seeing anything. So I tried. I even went home and threw cups of rice at the mirror. Nothing, no vision at all. In fact, it become more blurred because the powder of the rice made it more blurred. So I stopped throwing rice at mirrors. It don't work for me. So and for a few years I was running around seeing high lamas, hoping someone will see my abilities and who I am and open it up. The only thing they told me to open up is compassion. I was like, oh, why can't I be Amala? Why can't I get a mirror and some magic mantras? Didn't work. And so she told me. Some of the things are quite confidential, but she told me many, many personal things that no one will ever know. And she told me that based on the future and what I should do at this time, at this age, and this will happen at this age. In fact, whatever happened to me in Malaysia about 5-6 years ago, she already predicted. Clearly. Very clearly. And my point is this, I've seen that ability, even in humble, simple, peasant ladies. And she's very humble. You can feel her energy. She doesn't show off. She's not arrogant. She's very humble, very gentle. And she only does it when you press. She doesn't run around telling people, hey, I get visions, and we all know. Everybody knows. She doesn't tell anybody why, because she really gets it. And my point is this, is that these methods written down by the High Lamas who have real visions can work for all of us if we engage in the practices and the continuous commitments to keep it alive. Example, if we work very hard at the gym and we get a fabulous body, if we stop working out for a long time, there goes our fabulous body, hello fat body. It's very normal. We have to upkeep it. Alright? So what happens is in normal cases for divinations, then either your Lama assigns you, a Dharma protector assigns you, you choose something yourself and you approach your Lama, then you do the practices. No shortcuts. You do any shortcuts, it's not going to have any effect. Alright? In our system of doing divinations, there are many types. I won't be specific because it's too much. In our system of doing divinations, you take refuge. You take refuge under your Lama. You surrender to your Lama. And you trust and you believe. And then he'll assign you a meditational deity, a Yidam. A Yidam is your own particular meditational deity. It's usually one of the higher Tantra deities, such as Guhya Samaja, Yamataka, Heruka, Vajragini, Hevantra, Kalachakra. And those sadhanas, well, Heruka sadhana is about that thick, alright, and it's that long. And for me to do it is pleasurable because there are great results. For people who don't know the results, they shake and they get scared of it. Why? Because they're used to doing nothing. And I know lamas who do sadhanas like that, and I see their quality and I see their benefit they give to people. So my point is, it will be this long. Yamataka will be something half of that. Guhya Samaja will be a little bit longer like that. Vajragini will be something like that. And if you do no meditation, just the recitation every single day of these sadhanas, it will take you about 1.5 hours to 2 hours just to recite. Because it talks about from beginning to end of enlightenment, and it gives you certain meditations to open up your channels. Certain meditations that teach you how to control your future lives. Teach you the power of death. Life over death, meaning you can control your death. There are many, many meditations you can do that as a byproduct you get the 5 types of clairvoyances. You don't do it for that, but it comes as a byproduct because you open your mind. So these practices you do are called sadhanas, based on meditational deities such as yidams. And what happens is you have to receive the initiation of this yidam. Any of the higher tantric initiations of the yidam will take 2 to 3 days depending on situation. Because the Lama himself has to prepare for 1 whole day for you. And lots of offerings and self-initiations. The next day, the Lama will give you preparatory initiation. Then the 3rd day, the Lama will give you full initiation. It's a lot of work for the Lama. A lot of work. And they're very kind. So after you receive the initiation, you have to take vows. You have to take 18 your 18 root bodhisattva vows, 46 auxiliary vows of a bodhisattva. Then you have to take the 14 root tantric vows. And the auxiliary vows, Andy, how many is it in Tantra? Where's Andy? Ask him. Arvin, auxiliary tantric vows, how many?
6, 12.
How many, Arvin? You can't remember? Oh. Alright. We won't be coming to you for divinations. Those are very fundamental things we should memorize instead of looking for this, we should know our vows. We have to read it. Alright. We have to carry all those vows. And we have to hold it well. And if we break any of those vows, we have to do practices that purify those vows. Purify the samaya. Then holding those vows are every single day for the rest of your life. Alright? The rest of your life. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of vows. A lot. And some of those vows, it's like when you get the magic power, you're not allowed to destroy towns. You're like, huh? Because there are people in the past who use Tantra wrongly, and they gain magical powers, and they go and destroy people and hurt people. But they're not real Buddhists. There have been cases, that's why there's that vow. So I think, if I can reach that point, forget about, whatever, I just go in front of the bank and dissolve the wall, take everything out and run. Why am I going to destroy towns? What for? I build my own town, thank you very much. So anyways, then you hold the vows, and then you do your sadhanas every day. You don't go, but I don't have time. But I'm busy. But I have to see my lover. But I have a dinner engagement. Oh God, dinner schminner. And then some people, but I'm not well. I can't do my sadhana. All kinds of lame, tired excuses you hear about that they just don't want to put an effort. So when you do the sadhana every day, I'm not talking about the long one. then you have a specific amount of mantras to do according with those high tantric deities. Alright? In Yamataka's case, it is incredible. You have 4 mantras to do every single day and 1 to concentrate on, which in order to do the divination, you need to do 1 million. Okay, 1 million. You want to do retreats? You want to do divinations? Go ahead. You have to do 1 million of those mantras, the main one. The other 3 remaining mantras of Yamataka, you have to do 100,000 each. Then after that, you have to do a purification blessing mantra, another 10,000 for each 100,000 you've done. And that will be just the mantra bar. That's not recitation. And every single day, if you guys have seen, we've done the Tormas last night. Those of you who are fortunate enough who was invited to come to see Vajrayogini, you would have seen openly. That's the offerings you have to make during your retreat every single day. 4 times a day. You start your meditations in the morning at 3 a.m. and you finish around 5:30. Then you have your breakfast or whatever. Then you start off around 7:30, and you finish around 11. Then you have your lunch, whatever, and rest a little while. You start around 1 or 2. You can't start at the points where the sun hits, like daybreak, midday, the point that the sun hits the middle. And then afternoon, you start around 2, and you finish around 5. 4 or 5, depending on the meditation. And recitation. Then you take a break for din din. After that, you start around 7 to 8 o'clock, and you finish right before midnight. 4 times a day. 4 times a day. And that goes on for no holidays, no Sundays. Hello, Yamataka, I'm taking Sunday off. No. That will go on for 3 to 4 months in slow cases, 1 to 2 months in fast cases. That is for one meditational deity, in order to start your divination. Alright? So you think you have visions and you've done nothing. And you have visions. You sit around picking your nose. I have visions! I'm like, yeah, you have vision. You have vision of this coming to your face. I don't believe all that. Because I've seen people who really engage in those practices and still don't have visions. Still don't. So if people come up to me, they see this, they see that, they arrogantly pronounce this, I don't believe it. And I don't believe that it's real, but I know they have it. It can be something negative. In Heroka's case, you have 8 sets of mantras to recite. 8. The main mantra you have to recite is 1 million. And the other 7, and let me tell you, they're very long. One mantra will take you literally half a minute to recite. Per mantra, and you have to do that 100,000 times. So a Heruka retreat would take any normal person, about 2 to 3 months. 4 sessions a day with offerings and meditation, no breaks. And by the way, when you're in retreat, you stay within the parameter. You have a parameter that's been sectioned off by your lama. Why? During that retreat, the obstacles cannot come in. Spirits and stuff cannot come in to disturb you. Cannot bother you, because you're very vulnerable at that time. And you'll be sitting. You don't stand, you don't jump around, you don't kick this, you don't kick that, nothing. You'll be sitting the whole time. And you make those offerings every single day, 4 times a day, along with the mantra, and reciting the meditation text. Just reciting the meditation text is not good enough. You have to recite 1 page, meditate on what it says, recite, meditate, recite, meditate, recite, meditate, and that's after about 1.5 hours, 2 hours. Then you get to the mantra, about 1 hour, then you get to the mantra. When you get to the mantra, then you recite. Then how many you recite that day, you record. Then you finish off the rest of the sadhana, which can take another half hour to 45 minutes. You do the dedications. Then you take your break. Then you go back to that on the 2nd session. Then you go back to that on the 3rd session. You go back to that on the 4th session. You start where you left off. And that's when you finish your Idam's practice. Alright? Sita Mani Tara, Heruka, Yamataka, Guya Samaja, Kala Chakra, you finished. Anybody seen Kala Chakra's long text? Trust me. Most of you would run because you cherish yourself very much. You'll run. Then when you get that sadhana, when you do it, after you finish your meditational deities sadhana, you've done 1 million. That's what was required. 1 million. Because when my guru said 1 million, I went, 1 as in 6 zeros after that? They said yes. 6 zeros. I said 6. Is that right? And then they told me about how many sessions per day and all that stuff. And when I heard it, let me tell you, I was staying at my guru's house, which he's very kind, but my attached mind, no water, no running toilet, no toilet in the house. I was in retreat 3 months there. Freezing cold, no heater, nothing. When you go poop, you go outside in the ground, you dig a little hole, or they have a hole ready, and then you poop down there, and then they had an outside lavatory, which was a big hole dug in the ground, and then sticks on top with an opening, and you squat on the opening, you poo-poo, and there's a wall. And trust me, it is freezing in North India, freezing. When you open up yourself down there, you're going to poop really fast, because I tell you, your poop will turn into an icicle coming out. I'm not kidding, it's so cold. You're shivering. You are shivering, and that's outdoor. And then sometimes the poop is piled really high, so it's like almost touching your booty. Yes. So you have to actually go out and find a stick and make it go down so that you don't make love. Your poop and their poop don't make love. Oh yes. And to you guys, you'd be like, ooh, That's how much you don't want enlightenment. Because if you want enlightenment, none of that would be an obstacle. You'll do it. You won't find that an obstacle. That's how we can check how attached our mind is. When everything is beautiful and fabulous and air conditioned and with water and nice, we can't do Dharma. How we can do that? It's not the place, it's your mind. How attached your mind is. What is it attached to? Pleasure and comfort. And for that very reason of attachment, of pleasure, of comfort, and easy, you will suffer again and again and again and again. Because this life may be nice. You're not guaranteed for the next life. And this life, if you live in pleasure and comfort, everything's easy. You know what happens? You use up your merits. So your next life, you work backwards. If you use up your savings in the bank, you go back to work. Very simple. It's not very easy. And when I first got there for the first 1-2 years, and by the way, no running water, none. We took a bath once a week because my guru did a fabulous divination for one of the generals up in North India, Indian generals, and they were amazed. Their daughter recovered from very serious illness after following my guru's instructions. And he gave us 3 barrels of water, as far as I remember, 3 barrels of water per week as a gift to the guru forever. So we got 3 barrels of water a week. With 1 barrel, my guru, his consort, and his children would wash. And then myself too, because there was a lot of water, and then they would heat up the water. They were very kind for me to wash. And I had sores and welts all over my inner thighs and all over my legs and my butt and my anus, everywhere. Because of sitting there for long hours and not being able to wash. It was freezing. Freezing. And there would be welts, and pus coming out for months. What can I do? Break the retreat? No. I told my guru like that. He says, okay, put some hot butter on them. Hot butter? That's what they do in Tibet, put hot butter on them. I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll just leave it fresh and natural. No, what do you do? And then I can't leave the premises. Do you know why? Because it's been cordoned off for my retreat. I can't leave. I can't go to the doctors. It's not suffering, it's discipline. You push your mind to do it. So anyways, after you finish your Yidam retreat, you do the sadhana, you finish the prescribed amount of mantras with meditation. When you finish, you have to do a fire puja. Don't think it's the fire puja you guys know around here. I've seen fire pujas around here. It's just a fire and you burn some wood in there and you throw some things inside and that's it. The fire pujas up there are incredible and they go on for hours, and meditation and practice and their way of holding, the way of seeing, the way of throwing, the way of and even very simple things like this. Ritual items like a vajra and bell, you're supposed to hold at all times when you do the fire puja. And do the meditation, invite the deity, and then throw the objects. 13 different sacred objects you will throw into the fire, step by step by step. And when you throw, even the way you throw it has a way of doing it, ritual. And then like that. And then you can't let go of your vajra. Let me tell you, after throwing it 500 times, I just want to take it. I asked my group, can I just take the plate and dump it in, have to eat it at the same time? In and out. Why? Because it practices patience. And one time, listen to this, I had my guru there and another geshe, a couple of monks, they were helping me to do fire puja. I wasn't concentrated, so I went like that and everything went in. Because of this, I was like, uh-oh. And then one of the monks who didn't like me too much, he was funny. He gave me a dirty look like. And my guru's like, never mind, just get it out. So I had to go in the fire and get it out. And then let it cool down. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Oh. And he said, don't talk about it, sorry. And it's very concentrated, very focused. People who do funny fire pujas, no results. People who do fire pujas you're not sure of, no results. People who dare to do fire pujas without retreat, very dangerous. You spread negative practice to others. You cannot do a fire puja of any deity unless you've done a retreat like the way I just described. Any deity, Avalokiteshvara, Green Tara, Manjushri, you cannot ever do a fire puja without doing the retreat of the deity. If you presume to do that, you are collecting negative karma. You're exposing the secrets of Tantra to those, to yourself and others, that are not allowed. So if you're going to do a fire puja, don't think it's a joke. It's not just a fire and you recite some prayers and throw things in there. No, 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 no. They're very powerful practices in Tantra. And if you dare to do a fire puja without initiation, a guru, correct initiation, correct, and correct practice of the sadhana every day, and you correct right amount mantras every day, and then you do the retreat. After the retreat, you do a fire puja. You can do as many as you want to benefit the people and yourself. Before that, it is no benefit. It is just a show. And if people teach you the wrong type of fire puja and you do the wrong type of practices, you are responsible for spreading and degenerating Dharma. Responsible. So you may think you're very high sitting on a throne doing fire pujas. You're not. You're not. Definitely not. It's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And so what happens is, after the fire puja, then the cordon of vicinity of which you can travel out is broken. So you can run down. You can run down to town. You can go see the doctor. You can get some skin meditation for the welts that that are so big you got a third leg between your leg. And what you've been doing is putting a cup into your pus so you can collect it. How wonderful! And it's frozen, of course, because it's freezing. So what's that? Cheese. And in my case, my anus bled. It bled and bled nonstop from sitting 13 to 15 hours a day for months. It just bled. And I wasn't upset. I was limping around. I was limping around like I just got out of jail. David would know about that because he's small. Then guess what? The retreats ain't finished. Now you got to do the protector retreat. The protector retreat sadhana is about that thick too. And it takes you about 3 hours to recite, just to recite through it. Never mind the meditation, just to recite through it. When they showed me the sadhana, after the retreat, with my anal bleeding and my warts, the first thing I thought of was, run to the airport and get out of here before you're dead. Another part, I'm saying, I have to do these retreats eventually anyway. If I want to benefit people, I have to. So the protector, you have to make the same tormas like we saw yesterday. Huge tormas, huge offerings every single day. 4 sets of offerings, and many other unusual tormas to capture the blessings of the protector. Literally capture, to hook in. And depends on what protector and what form. Okay, each form. Even if you have one protector, let's say your protector is a Mahakala, have different forms, different types, different energies within the same one. So you have to do the tormas differently, the colors differently, and you have to do the diagrams differently. They have to mark your place. They have to draw your seat, mark it to protect you. They have to bless your area, and no one can enter your retreat area. No one. It's just you and an attendant. And the area you're in must be marked off for your retreat. You cannot leave that area. So if you want to go jogging, you go jogging around your house, round and round till you fall down from vertigo. There's no place to go. And of course, the toilet was cordoned in for me. Thank you very much. Not that it made a difference. And I had it pretty good because my guru was very kind. I didn't have any money. He gave me toilet paper. Other people in the region use rocks. You have to use rocks and sticks because they're very, very poor. They're lucky if they even get food. They're very, very poor. But when they heard I'm doing retreat, I'm doing fire puja, these people were so poor, they ran into distant forests to bring firewood for me. I cried because firewood was very expensive and you can't find it. Miles and miles of flat land. Ladakh. Leh Ladakh. And these people came and all dirty and all humble and smelly and brown faces like leather, and they come off of firewood. Oh, we heard Lama is offering fire puja, please pray for us. Oh, you just cry. You just cry because you can't believe how kind these people are and how much they believe, and how could you not do your retreat well? How could you not? And so what happens is you do your third retreat. Now listen carefully. The third retreat is very interesting because it's a culmination of all your retreats. So the third retreat, you have to do 4 sessions a day. You mark your seat. You mark the parameters. You make the correct offerings. You have your ritual objects consecrated, only you use. You have received initiation. And you're holding your vows. All right, that's a prerequisite. Then the actual retreat is you have to recite refuge. After refuge, you have to recite Lama Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga daily. After you finish that, then you have to recite Guru Puja. We do Guru Puja here every 2 weeks. You have to recite that whole thing every day. Then after you finish Guru Puja, you have to recite your example of his Yamataka, Yamataka's whole sadhana and mantra. After you finish Yamataka's whole sadhana mantra, then you go into your protector sadhana. And when you go into your protector sadhana, that takes about 2-3 hours. So one session, you don't get a lot of mantras in. You don't. It's more meditation. Why? The meditation is designed to develop you to achieve that kind of ability. And then, when you get your protector mantra, you have to recite that 1 million times. Some protectors have a few mantras, and let me tell you, some of the mantras are really long. You have to do 1 million. The subsidiary mantra is 100,000. Then you finish off with the protector, and you finish off with your idam. Then you finish off with Guru Puja. Then you finish off with dedication. That's one session. And you do 1 million. After you've done that, okay, that'll take you about 3 months if you're fast. It took me 3 months. I was very fast. Because before that, I forgot to mention, before you do Yidam's meditation, you have to do Lama Tsongkhapa's retreat. You have to recite Mingme Tewe Techen Chenese 100,000 times, combined with Guru Puja. So every day you have to recite the Guru Puja and Lama Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga, recite Lama Tsongkhapa's mantra 100,000 times, minimum. And if your Guru happens to say he didn't have any signs and indications, you do another 100,000. So what you do is you do everything you can to send a sign and indication. You pray, please, please give him a sign, please, 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 please. And of course, if you do that, he doesn't get a sign. That's the reason he doesn't get a sign, because you're always trying to give up. So you do Lama Tsongkhapa's meditation, and you do Lama Tsongkhapa's retreat 100,000, his mantra 100,000 times. When you finish, no fire puja for Lama Tsongkhapa, no fire puja. After you finish that, then you do any yidam that you've been assigned. It can be Yamataka. You do Yamataka. After you finish that, 1 million, then you do the fire puja. After you finish that, you do your protector retreat, combined with the other 2 retreats, Lama Tsongkhapa, Guru Puja, and Yamataka daily, and you do 1 million of your protector mantra. Then when you finish 1 million of your protector mantra, alright, you're finished. But anyways, then you need to do a fire puja. And the fire puja must be assisted by authentic lamas who are skilled in the art of fire puja. And they draw diagrams, they draw correct mandalas, they invite the deity, they correct offerings, and they wash and clean the offerings according to ritual. Because it's very powerful, it's for attainments. And then you do the fire puja. Then when you finish, you're flat out on your back for about 1 week trying to recover and everything stopped right. Let me tell you, the day I finished my last puja, the day I finished my last retreat, this is a little weird. My anal bleeding stopped on that day. And I didn't see any doctors, it just stopped. How do I know? Because I looked at the pile of you-know-what when I went poo-poo, and there was nothing there, no blood. And I tested next day, no more blood. The anal bleeding just stopped. Just like that. I told my guru, he just looked at me, and he blew a cigarette at me. He said, whatever. And so, then what you do is this. Then you go down to your lama, and you get a divination box. Alright? You get the dice from either your lama, you get the dice either from your lama or some esteemed master who carves the dice themselves, have it carved, and they consecrate and they clean it. And then different divinations require different boxes. In my lineage of divinations, in my lineage, the boxes must be of the best quality, the highest quality, because it is a mandala for the deity to manifest. In some traditions, whatever the box is, it doesn't matter. So you may see lamas with fancy, smancy little boxes. You think, oh, he's greedy. It's not that. It's according to the ritual. So in this lineage, the box must be of the best quality, as best as you can afford, as beautiful as possible, with the image of a deity there. Then the inside must be covered in red, purified, clean. The source of this must be clean, and the dice is blessed. Then you will go to your lama, or you will go to whatever, and you will receive an oral transmission of the text for divination. Oral transmission, because the text is quite long. When this symbol falls, you go into that section. When this symbol falls, you go into that section. So you have to go and make offerings to your lama, and receive the oral transmission. He will recite to you directly what's been passed down for thousands of years. So you receive the oral blessing, the ability to do it. And then, with his permission, he will check. In my case, my gurus checked for me, several. Checked for me to do, they told me to start. In some cases, they tell them to do more retreat. In some cases. It's up to the Lama and his divination. And in my case, I got double confirmation. I was very lucky because the protector of Ganden, we have a great oracle in Ganden. We have a protector of Ganden who manifested in an oracle, the medium, and he himself gave me this. You spit on it, I said do it. And in fact, he told me, benefit people and do it, because I don't want to, I hate it. And I just don't want to. And he told me do it, again and again. And recently when I went to Kathmandu, I offered my dice up to the protector who took trance again. And again, most of you were there, blessed and consecrated. Then, when you do it, in order to do it, the sadhanas that you did in retreat, you have to do the short form sadhanas every single day. Every single day you have to do the short form. You have the long and short to keep up the energy. And when you do the short form sadhana every single day, before you do, depends on the person, alright? Depends on their abilities. They either have to do black tea or not, depends on them. Then you purify the dice with incense just before doing it. That's to purify the dice, not because the dice is dirty, you're dirty. Purify it for the sake of the people asking divination. Because some of them, the defilements are very strong. The negative karma is very, very strong. So sometimes you purify it and you throw the dice down to look for a good indication. And for people who have very difficult situations, this is for my type of divination, alright? Not everyone's. The dice won't give a good indication. I have to keep doing. So when I get a good indication, it means I can start. So the incense is to purify, make offerings to the deity for the sake of the person, not the deity. Not the deity. So then they'll ask the question. When they ask the question, they have to ask it 3 times or more, but minimal 3 times. You have to ask, is it good? Yes or no. Is it good long term? Yes or no. Finally, eventually, is it good? Yes or no. So you have to get 3, you have to check. Alright, that's for a basic divination. And each divination, this dice has 6 sides. 6 sides, alright? This dice has 6 sides and 6 symbols. Each symbol, you have to go to the divination text, has 16 sections. So 6 symbols divided by 16. Is how many? Any accountants here? About 70 plus. Okay, so you have 70 section divination text. Why? If you have one symbol, let's say the symbol is, formerly known as Prince. Let's use that as one of our symbols. Isn't that neat? It doesn't have a name anymore. It's formerly known as Prince. Don't you love that symbol? I don't know what it is. Anyways, if one of your symbols is that, if the person asks you about marriage and relationship, in this symbol, the meaning will be different. In that symbol, the meaning will be different. So you have to go down to the section where that symbol falls and look in the marriage section, the connection section, the relationship section. And you have to look if it will match. Then if it comes out initially bad, you throw it again, Because sometimes it's bad, not bad, good. Sometimes it's bad, bad, good. Sometimes it's bad, bad, bad. So if it's bad, 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 it means beginning, middle, and end, the relationship will be very bad. And if you need to check more clearly in the text, you can look clearly in what way their relationship will be very bad. For some of my friends, when they got into relationships, without them knowing, I checked for them. And I told them, I warned them, your relationship will be bad. It will not be good. Some of them believe me, some of them don't. It doesn't matter to me because I did my job, so the gods will stop waking me up in the middle of the night. Just kidding. I always check. You see, doing divination is not just throwing a little dice in front of you. There's a lot of preparation, a lot, and daily upkeep to do it. Why? Nobody rewards you. Nobody says thank you. Nobody knows what you went through. You do it out of compassion for others. In my case, it wasn't compassion, out of threats from my guru. You're going to go to hell if you don't listen to me. All right, I'll do it. Okay, so what happens is this, if you have relationships, if it comes out bad, bad, good, it means this person can overcome the problems in the relationship. It's bad now, it's going to be bad generally, but in the end it's good. And so they'll have specific pujas to do to alleviate the obstacles and purify the obstacles for that relationship to be better. And if you believe in the Lama very well, he will give you the full set of things to do. If you don't, he might tell you it's not good. Because you know why? If he tells you it's good, and you're not going to do it, it comes out bad, you doubt. So sometimes the Lama lies to you. Lies out of compassion because they know you won't do it. So they just tell you bad so they engage in it. There are many ways to go about giving answers to people. And hence sometimes it comes out, oh, it didn't come out the truth. Why? Sometimes when a Lama tells you the opposite, listen carefully. If you do it, you will get tremendous negative repercussions. So instead of even telling you there's a slight chance it might be good and give you hope, they tell you no flat out. Why? You can do it, but the results will be disastrous. The results will not be good. The results will take away from something else in your life that will not be equal to what you want. So the Lama is very compassionate to think of many ways to skillfully tell you what's going to happen. If we resist and we fight, the Lama keeps quiet. If we listen and we follow, you create a very strong connection with the Lama. So that in the future, he can always give you indications. Always. So when people are always protesting or take it for granted, or they just think it's a game, or they don't follow out, the Lama stops divinations. Completely stop. Why? You were fine without it before, so you'll be fine without it. Very simple. Very simple. If it's taken for granted, it's not listened to, and the Lama hears criticism, his divination is not accurate, he stops. Why? Because of your big mouth, because of your negative attitude, and your lack of consistency, your results don't come, and you dare to voice it out, and you affect other people that can get benefit. And when you affect other people who can get benefit, you destroy the chances for everyone. Instead of letting that go all the way, the Lama stops divination. Either for you or for everyone. Out of compassion again. Out of compassion. Why compassion? Because the results will be more worse. And then it has sections such as, the first one is, if I engage in this Dharma activity, will be beneficial or not. Beneficial in Dharma activity, definitely beneficial, but the extent I must go through to make it manifest. Some people say, oh, they're going to do a retreat on prostration. And then you know they're going to have obstacles because they're lazy, there's whatever. So you'll tell them, yes, it'll be medium, but you must do this, this, this to make it come out true. If they listen, it will come out true. If they don't, that's all. The second section will be family activity. Everything to do with the family. The third section will be visitors and guests that are coming. The fourth is house and place and moving and staying or not staying in that area. The fifth will be success of a certain endeavor you're interested in. The sixth will be regarding legal actions. The seventh will regard sickness. The eighth will be in regards to your lifespan. The ninth will be regarding spirits, the type of spirits, how they come, real or not real. The 10th will be on medical treatment. If you're ill, you're going for medical treatment. Number 11 will be regarding traveling, whether you should travel or not. Number 12 will be regarding wealth and resources and the keeping of wealth and resources in the development. Number 13, in general, is a general answer. Number 14 is methods to keep one's wealth. Number 15, mitigating arguments. Mitigating problems that arise from arguments. Number 16 will be, in this case, specific practices to counter. Specific practices to do. Alright, that will be for one face of the dice. You have 6 faces. And what happens is after a while when you do it, you memorize everything. You can memorize it. There are some specific things you can't memorize because they have to do with dates. But in general, you start memorizing it, and in fact, you don't even have to follow text anymore when you are versed in it. So you can throw the dice, and you don't even have to say, oh, give me because you ask the deity, give me this section and tell me what section, blah, blah, blah. He'll indicate to you. And if you become good at it, or you've been doing it for a long time, or you've kept up your practices, you don't even have to go to the book. It'll come out simply yes or no. So things that ordinarily would be, in this space of dice would be bad, in the situation it would be no, will be yes. Then you can tell by that way. How effective is a divination will be dependent, of course, on a Lama's practice, number 1. Number 2, if he's finished all the requirements to do divination, and he has the lineage, and he has been passed the lineage by oral transmission, and he has the authority and the permission of his guru to do it. People who don't have the permission of their guru to do it, they don't finish, it won't be effective. It'll be more harmful than good. And sorry to say, sometimes through the dice, negative beings will speak through the dice thinking it's positive and trick you. Definitely. Those who break the samaya with their guru or have negative thoughts with their guru, when they do divinations, it will come out the opposite. Why? It's not the being speaking anymore. It's something else. Because the channel is open. So it's very, very dangerous. So the guru must have done the practice, or the divination master must have done the practice, and finish the retreats, receive the initiation for the retreats, finish the retreats, finish the fire pujas, afterwards receive the text, the oral transmission, afterwards receive the oral permission of the Lama, and also receive the blessings of your Lama. Blessing means go ahead and do it. And then through practice, you're able to develop that skill. All of us can do that if we go through the procedures. How well we can do the divinations will depend on how much we put into our retreats. And the retreats is not a one-off thing. You can do retreats again and again. You can do Yamataka, you can do it every year. It doesn't have to be a million, it can be 100,000. And it benefits you not just in cheap little divinations, it benefits you in developing your mind and collecting good karma. And in Yamataka's case, purifying negative karmas. Very purified. Very powerful negative karmas. And then every single day you do your Yamataka sadhana, you do your protective prayers, your black tea, every single day. Then you maintain it. Certain people who have reached a level of clairvoyance, they do not need to do the protective prayers, they do not need to do the sadhanas every day. The divinations come clear as it is. Because some lamas, in order to show humility, they do not need the dice. They know upon asking, but they use the dice to not show their power. I've witnessed that with one lama. I caught him a few times giving the answer before the dice dropped, and I say, how can you tell me before the dice dropped? He goes, no, the dice dropped. A very humble old lama who meditated for many years in the forest, very gentle. I caught him. I was going to take a picture. See? And people came for miles and miles in different countries with busloads coming into the monastery to see this old lama, to do divinations. I saw him myself. I saw him. And his divination, he does Yamataka prior, afterwards he does Bandhan. I saw it myself, because I know the dice, I recognize what he's doing. And sometimes he'll even, when I sit with him, sometimes, he likes me, he likes to hang around him, maybe I look funny or something. Anyway, he'll just do it, and then he'll tell you the answer, and then I'm around, he says, see, isn't it? I said, yes, sir. He'll do like that. He just has nothing to hide. In some cases, for people who do divination who have incredible doubt, you tell them the symbol, one section, and you throw it, and you show them. You throw it, you show them. You throw them, you show them, and they keep quiet. Because there's no way you can fake that. No way. For some people who doubt incredibly, and don't believe, but you need to tell them. And whether it's fully effective or not, after that's been done, and the qualifications has been fulfilled, after that, whether it really brings you benefit or not will depend on you carrying out the instructions. If after divination you say, oh, I can't, I don't want to, or you flip-flop about it, or you don't follow all the way, or you're tricky about it, you won't get the result. Why? The divination is telling you what happens and how to avoid or how to make it happen. If you don't do the necessary, it's not going to happen. I can tell you guys, oh, when you go home after this, you're going to go home and go into bed. That's very simple. But if you on the way, you decide to go to the beach club, over there in town and jump up and down, whatever, and on the podium, then you don't go to bed. It doesn't mean I'm wrong, you didn't do your part. So if I say to you, oh, tonight, don't go out. Tonight, stay home. It'll affect something for tomorrow. And your travels for the next few weeks. It'll be better, don't. And you don't listen. And you do that. You get the result. Sometimes our Dharma protectors, Tara or whatever, can manifest to us in losing something. And we think it's bad. We've been praying. We've been distraught. We've been unhappy. But our lamas, our Dharma protectors, will give us sign. The lamas will give signs to your lama or someone that's close to you who's a lama and give you an indication that something's happening to you. Something bad's happening to you. And they call you. They look for you. They try to find you. And they try to ask you to come in order to help you through your difficulty. Because they receive signs, they have a feeling. That's very normal. Why? You've had a good relationship with this lama. And this lama does his prayers. Due to the power of your relationship and the power of blessings of the Buddhas, signs and indications can come. It doesn't necessarily have to be that the lama is psychic. And they'll look for you and call you, trying to help you. But sometimes the lama gets rejected. Sometimes people listen to the lama. It doesn't demean the lama at all. The lama's job is done once he does that. But in many cases, many lamas, they will not give up. There are some beings who you don't need indications. You don't need signs that they're doing badly and they're doing horribly. You just look at them and you know. And the lama always sends indications and signs and people and students to them to help them. If they accept it, they change their destiny. If they don't, be ready for their destiny. If you have the karma to be near a lama, if you have karma to find a guru that cares about you, it took many lifetimes of prayers and aspirations. If you throw it out because of your ego, if you throw it out because of you want to be right or wrong, you lose. Why do you lose? After so much effort for a small thing such as your own mind, you lose. You lose. That's what my lamas used to tell me. So what happens is this, is that after you finish the divination for the person, there are specific pujas to be done. The pujas can be very vast ones and very small ones. Very vast and very small pujas. What are the pujas? The pujas are exactly what we saw last night, but on grand scale. The pujas are done by qualified, ordained monks or nuns. Otherwise, the same. And a large community of them. In the case of our monastery, the mother monastery in Bandin, South India, which most of you have visited, it has over 3,000 monks, holy sangha, young and old. Some are erudite masters, bodhisattvas. Some are trying to be. That's why I like to name them, trying to be. So anyways, when you order a puja there, you can do it large scale. Large scale is called Lachi. Lachi Puja. Lachi, Lachi Puja. The medium puja is Dratsang Puja. Dratsang, Dratsang. Dratsang is half the monastery. The smaller puja is Kangzen Puja. Khangtsen. Kangzen Puja. And that can, in our Kangzen, it can be about 200 monks. Then the smallest puja is, if you can't afford it, then you have, example, you can be 10 monks, 15 monks, 20 monks, up to you, depending on the puja. Some pujas require a minimum of 4 monks. And what does a puja require? Some puja require offerings. Some pujas are reading scriptures. The 108 volumes of Buddha's teachings, they're very big. It takes 3,000 monks one whole day to read those scriptures. So for your benefit, for your overcoming of your obstacles. So what you provide for them is this: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, vegetarian. And they don't order from a restaurant. They buy the supplies from the nearby town, which takes them over an hour to get to, shop in a heat, and then another hour to get back after 3-4 hours of shopping. And they come back in a huge truck, a huge lorry. And they bring the vegetarian items back to the monastery. And the monks themselves have designated monk cooks who have assignments for that day. And they chop up, wash, and clean, and cook all the vegetables, and all the bread, and the butter, and the tea, and prepare it all for you. So you can waltz into the monastery and make the offerings yourself to the monks. They do it all, sweating like pigs, with respect. And then when they prepare the pujas, then you offer each monk, just like in Thailand or anywhere, a gift. So easier to buy a specific gift. We offer like money. The token amount usually is about 10 to 20 rupees per month. And that's, 10 rupees is about 90 cents to 1 ringgit. It's very little. Very, very little. Very little. And they chant and pray and meditate for you the whole day. You're not paying them to do that. You're making a money offering to them to sustain their Dharma work because they have no sponsors. They have no income. They have no work. And some monks I've seen only have one set of robes. And they wash them. And they wait for it to dry and they wear it. I've seen it. I've seen monks in their underwear hanging out. And asking them why. Because they have only one set of robes. Nothing else. In a bare room, if they have that. Some monks who come new, no room in the monasteries, they sleep out on the verandas with a mosquito net over them for years. I've seen it. I've seen it. And so, what happens is, when we make offerings to these monks, we're making offerings to sustain their Dharma practice through the difficult years. And I suffered through those years, many, many years of depravity and not having sponsors and having leaky roofs and not eating for some days. I suffered through many days of that in the beginning. Many, many days. Because I didn't have any sponsors. I didn't have any help. Nothing. 100 times I thought I'd give up. I don't think many people here can go through things like that for the sake of the Dharma. Because we live in a fabulous country and we're brought up in a fabulous way and we're quite, if I may say so, quite frankly, spoiled. So any kind of difficulty for spiritual practice, we go, uh-oh. Why? Our commitments are not very strong yet. When our commitments are strong, no matter how hard the hardship, we'll do it. So what happens is this, that you order a puja. It could be a Tara puja, it could be a Guru puja, Lama Tsongkhapa's puja. So when you order a Lama Tsongkhapa puja, they have to buy tsok, just like last night. Those who came last night, you would have had an incredible education. It would be much easier for me to explain. Those who miss teachings continuously, I have to explain again and again. It's very difficult. So those who came last night, as you saw, in front of the altar, you saw a lot of tsok. Tsok is different types of foods you would offer to the Buddhas. And the amount is enough to distribute it to 3,000 monks, 1,000 monks, whatever monks you've invited. Because it's not nice. After the offering's been done to the Buddhas, some monks get and some don't. Of course, the elder ones get first. And so during the breakfast session, they will start their prayers. It's such an incredible feeling. All 3,000 monks will show up in the main prayer hall of Gandhin. And I went many times. I'm excited every time I see it. Till now. They'll gather and they'll start their rituals and do prayers. It's so beautiful. Even the high lamas will come and sit on their thrones. You're like, wow, all in one place. And you prostrate to the Sangha because you take refuge in the real Sangha. Our Sangha here is just a make-up one. Just, for convenient reasons, we call it just a Sangha. The real Sangha is ordained beings. So what happens is, you make prostrations and you go downstairs, and all the monks are very kind. On your behalf, in front of you, they offer tea, bread, to each single monk that was sponsored by you. Wow! Each monk gets their breakfast because of you. And it's so cheap. And they made it themselves. They don't incur any extra expenses, they make it themselves. And then they do prayers until noon. They take a bathroom break. And then they come back for lunch. And during lunch they pass out one type of vegetables, depending on what you order. And some sponsors said they can afford it. They order one egg, a boiled egg for each monk. So each monk gets a boiled egg, a vegetable, and bread. They get bread again, and when they get bread again, hi Tato, how are you? I met him. When they get bread again, they have their vegetables, they have their bread, and they have their lunch. And before they have it, it's such a meaningful experience. They hold these items and they think about you. They think about you. And they focus on the three jewels, and they do a chant to offer the food up to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha for you. And after they finish, they eat it. When they finish, it's very moving. I get very emotional. Because they're so good, the monks. They're so good. Anyways, after they finish, they go back home and they rest. They come back about 2 o'clock and start the pujas, and then you offer them afternoon tea. Just tea. So the monks come out, they offer tea. You don't have to be there. You can or cannot be. You offer them tea. After you offer them tea, they start their prayers and rituals. Then during dinner is offered to them again. A slab of bread that they made themselves, and some vegetables. And the sponsors can't afford it, eggs. And they offer them that. And then they finish the prayers. Usually after dinner, for about 1-2 hours, prayers finish. If it's a protected puja, it will be from around 6 a.m. in the morning till around 12 midnight. So then for protected pujas, which I've sat through for 2 days, many times, let me tell you, you don't fall asleep. You don't fart, you don't move. Because among the monks, there's a very big, tough monk elected by everyone. We call the Geku, or the disciplinarian. And this disciplinarian doesn't sit. He walks up and down and watches who's chanting, who's not chanting. Usually the younger ones, And he has a big stick. And if you fall asleep, if you're not chanting, some monks, they're quite playful. They take their bread, they save it, and they throw it at you. I got that a few times. Like, oh. And then the disciplinarian comes around, catches you throwing bread at some of the other younger monks. The young ones, they're young. While you get a stick. And let me tell you, you don't want to stick on your head in front of 3,000 monks. You feel pretty stupid. So if you lose space here, you try over there. You lose your whole body. And they don't make you stand in a corner or anything, but you get it whack. So I was thinking about some of the people I have here who always perpetually fall asleep during Dharma teachings or Dharma talk or pujas. Oh my, they will get it in the monastery, let me tell you. They will absolutely get it. They will get it. And what happens is this. You think, how can you hit a monk? It's not hitting a monk to abuse a monk. What is it? It is an older monk enforcing discipline of the monastery and the rules of the younger monks so they can grow up to be fabulous monks. I never got the stick, but I got screamed at once. It was enough. Because like I said, as you guys know, sometimes I'm late. I sometimes don't follow the clock. Sometimes. So in the monastery, I thought it was a big deal. Late lah. Oh, no. I arrived late and the disciplinarian screamed in front of everybody. Screamed and shouted. Some people think they're reincarnated lamas and they don't have to follow the rules. I was like, ugh! And everybody kind of went, I'm like, go ahead and just really look, man. Oh yes. One time they screamed at me. Let me tell you, if I was late, I didn't go, and then I get it too. But after I reached a certain rank, they couldn't do that anymore. I show up in puja or not, they can't. After I reach a certain rank, whether you show up in puja or not, the patron has to put a kata on your seat and an offering on your seat and food, and the monastery has to bring it down to you. So toward the latter years, all the food was brought down to me, and the katas and offerings were down to me, and I sat in my room, I lay down, I read some, Lamrim book, whatever, and pick my nose and eat my veggies and have my food. How fabulous, how wonderful. And it was so wonderful. And then offerings and katas, Although this is the life. I should have found out about this earlier. Not the first years, let me tell you, not the first few years. The first few years, my mouth couldn't find any food at all. The latter years, the food kept finding my mouth, and hence you saw me. But then, that's a puja. It can be a setra puja. It can be a tara puja. It can be many different types of pujas. Many different types. Each puja requires different types of rituals and different types of offerings. Some are more expensive. When we say we have to do a big puja, it's not you're being charged. What it is that specific items are needed. And the monks have to go into the city to buy these items to offer on your behalf. And the costage of that is what you're being charged. On top of that, if you want to give an offering to each monk, you may. If you don't want to, they're not going to throw in a bitch fit or anything. Nothing happens. So what happens is that when you do these pujas, these monks are doing the ritual from A to Z for you. So let me reiterate again. You can do the largest puja, which is extremely virtuous, all of Ganden Lachi, L-A-C-H-I, and that puja is for over 3,000 monks, and all are residing there. Some go off for teachings or they have assignments, whatever. Alright? And then you have the next level, which is Ganden Shartse. Dratsang Puja, D-R-A-T-S-A-N-G. Dratsang Puja will be half that amount. It will be half the amount of that monks. And then the next level down of pujas will be Kamsen Pujas. Kamsen Pujas depends on different Kamsens, but in my Kamsen, about 250 monks. A Kamsen, K-H-A-N-G-T-S-E-N, Kamsen is a sorority. It's a group of monks that come from a certain part of Tibet, and their language and dialects match. They put them in that grouping. Because monks from this part of Tibet, that part of Tibet, they can't communicate because their dialect is completely different. Just like in China, you have different dialects, they can't understand each other because Tibet's very big. So according to your dialect and province and district, they'll put you in different kamsens, different sorority houses. Mine is Pugang Kamsen. And I have the great honor that my kamsen contains His Holiness Kepchen Rinpoche. So my previous lives came from the same areas, His Holiness Rinpoche and His Eminence Laki Rinpoche. So Laki Rinpoche, Rinpoche, and the great master Khyentse Rinpoche and myself were all from the same districts in that part of Tibet. So we belong to the same kamsen. In our kamsen, we have about, currently, as far as I know, 11 reincarnated tulkus, reincarnation recognitions, different rank. And the rest are monks, geshes, masters, and professors. And they live in our kamsen. So we do a kamsen. In our kamsen, it's about 250 as far as I know. And then the next level pujas down will be any amount that you request, but minimum 4, dependent on puja. Minimum on puja, all right? So when you offer a puja, the monks will do whatever number. The monks will do specific pujas for you all day, and you're required to offer them breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is actually an honor. And if you like, an extra offering. In our case, in a short time, I'll be going there myself, and I'll take whoever want to go with me to Ganden, and we're going to make offerings to the monks of all-day food, and breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and puja, of course. And also we have the great honor of offering one set of robes, to every single monk in the monastery. And on top of that, we've already ordered 3,000 Manjushri statues, 9-inch each, a little bit higher than this. The face is being painted, the mantras are being put in, and the clothes has been ordered. And our painter, Kunga Namgya, he's there right now taking care of it. He's done about 700 Manjushris already. And then it's getting ready. We're going to offer one Manjushri to every single monk in the monastery. Why? A lot of monks can't afford that. So they can have something beautiful on the altar to make offerings to help their study. It benefits Dharma. benefits Dharma. And anybody circumambulating around Ganden in the future, they'll be circumambulating around 3,000 manjushris. Just think about that. So I've had many people, hardworking, cooperative, and very, very easygoing, have gone to Delhi many times to order these statues for me and get it done. We have many qualified people who can do that now, many qualified. So they've gone to Delhi to order statues for me and done a great job. Some go to Nepal and get statues for me. And I've had some people already go to India to order the pujas and get things ready and oversee it. And we get contacts in the monastery all the time about the progress. So right now we're at the stage where the 3,000 manjushris are in the process of being painted, and the clothes is in the process of being ordered. Is it, Ruby? The clothes has been ordered. Now we already told them go ahead, and the funds have been remitted. So what they do is they won't sew up the robes because everybody's got a different size. So what they do is they'll cut the robes according to a specific measurement, and it'll be folded neatly and offered to each monk. So they can, and we'll offer them money, each one, to go to the tailors to get it done. So each monk will get a whole set of robes. And as I told you, I've seen some monks who don't have clothes. They have one set, that's it. Very poor. So you may think, what's the big deal? It's a very big deal. And in all Buddhist traditions of offering dana of clothes and robes to monks and nuns is a very virtuous act because they're renunciates. They don't have a job and they don't have means of livelihood. So we provide the means, we help them to study and practice the Dharma. So I'm very into it. Recently, Madam Chua, Chia, and JT, Joanne Tan, the three of them went to North India, and they went to Dharamsala. They were very nice. At my instructions, and they went there, they made offerings to the wonderful, beautiful nuns there. How many nuns, JT? Remember? Oh, about 150 nuns there, beautiful nuns. They have a beautiful nunnery there, all lady practitioners, no men allowed. And they did a beautiful Tara Puja that made offerings to all the nuns. And they did a great job. And then there's a Ganden Shatse branch monastery there. We made offerings there. They went to visit all the monasteries around His Holiness Monastery, all of that. They recently just went there and they came back. And so we have many people who can go all over and do pujas now and have it done and all that. It's wonderful because I want to do more and more and more. Much more. So last time for this nunnery, I sewed up coats for them. They have nun coats, very thick, especially for nuns, because in North India it's freezing. And I stayed there and I was freezing. I was able to raise some funds from North America and offer about 100 plus coats at that time to each nun. Why do I do this? I do it because I support the growth of Dharma in many ways. One is at grassroots. Excuse me. Grassroots level is supporting the actual people who are training up to be great nuns and great monks to teach the Dharma. At grassroots level. Isn't that more better than always thinking about myself, me, my unhappiness, me? To support something great that relieves the people's unhappiness by their body and their mind when they receive the Dharma. I'm here because Ganden was here. I'm here because someone sponsored me in the past. Someone helped me in the past. I'm here. Like that, there are many great masters that manifest in the monasteries because of our dedication at grassroots levels to help these monks. And that's one. The second is I support the Dharma by following the monastic rules of the monastery. Following their rules and upholding the rules and codes. Why? If we break the codes, one break, two break, the monastery dissolves. Dissolves. 3, I get requests in the monastery. Recently I got requests in the monastery again. They were doing the debate courtyard. And they thought they had funds. And people in Singapore were supposed to finish it. They didn't finish. They couldn't afford it. And they have big loans for that. So recently the monks have sent me from the monastery loans for the large debate courtyard, which was supposed to be all right, but it wasn't all right. And they need help on that. I get requests all the time. I just got this letter a few days ago.